everyone, Tactical Gizmo here, and welcome to a review of The Good Doctor. Now, this review is going to be done from an autistic viewpoint, because I am autistic myself, so I felt the need to do a review of this because I can relate to The Good Doctor in more ways than one. So this is my own thoughts on the show. So here we go. Now, The Good Doctor is about Dr. Sean Murphy, who has autism, like high functioning autism. And within the first few episodes of season one, he's heavily discredited and heavily criticized because of his autism. Within the first episode, Dr. Glassman, the president of the hospital, fights for getting Sean the job that he literally wants, which is to become a surgeon. And all the board of directors, I believe they're called, are highly skeptical because of his autism. So they automatically assume just because that he has autism that he can't be a surgeon, that someone's gonna die, or I would say something even worse. But I guess yeah, there's literally nothing worse than death, or a surgery goes wrong, or someone has his arm amputated where he doesn't even need to be. But the funny thing is about it is that throughout the whole entire season one, season two, and season three, Sean proves himself to those that never believed him to begin with, never even believed in him, let alone his own capabilities. And he has grown and adapted to the pretty much the environment around him and the world around him. Because in the very first episode, you can definitely see that yes, he's grown up into, I'd say, 21, maybe 22 years old at the very least, because I guess that's the age of the character. I'm not entirely sure. But going on that, at the very first season, he literally does, as I said, he does have to prove himself to all of his colleagues, especially to the person that's training him to become a fully fledged surgeon. Even though Sean Murphy, with his recollection skills and his eidetic memory, literally, Sean, in my mind, could have been a surgeon literally the second he walked through the door, because he's done so much research and everything. But hang on. And I know most people probably would not have a cigarette in making a YouTube video, but this is my channel, my content, so fuck it. And the main thing that gets me when it comes to the Good Doctor series is that Freddie Highmore, who plays Dr. Sean Murphy, isn't autistic himself, but he emulates an autistic person pretty much near perfectly, to the point where the how do I say it, the awkwardness that Sean has, the way he can't look a person in the eye when it comes to having a fully fledged conversation. He has to look around and everything. Most autistic people do actually do that. I do that myself, because it's very difficult for us to just look a person dead in the fucking eyes and have a conversation while staring dead at that person's eyes. It's very, very difficult for us to do that. And also another thing is that Sean finds it very difficult to understand human emotion, as well as facial cues, facial expressions, jokes, insults, all that sort of stuff. But throughout the series, and it's not completed yet, we're still going to get season 4, thank fuck, he begins to learn slowly of human interaction, human facial expressions, social cues, all that sort of stuff. I mean, hell, he ends up even falling in love for the very first time in his life with the character known as Leah. And when when I was observing that, it made me feel better as an autistic person, because it shows that we're not just quote unquote retarded people that can't do fuck all in society. No, we are much more than that, especially those that are high functioning. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, because at the end of the day, the way I see it is, when it comes to a high functioning autistic person, do not underestimate them. Because yes, they may be socially awkward. Yes, they may not understand certain social cues, or even certain human understandings when it comes to human emotion or whatever else. But it's it's not just those. It's also the fact of where that, again, don't underestimate us, because we could be much more than that. Some of us are so heavily intelligent that we can literally write a fucking symphony that ends up being completely fucking brilliant, or writing a book that ends up being the most well-known book in existence, or becoming the most terrific actor in existence, like Anthony Hopkins, for example. Because as far as I'm aware, he's autistic as well, and look at the stuff that he's done. Like, what's the main one that I like that he's done? Silence of the Lambs. There we go. That film where he portrays the serial killer. He's a serial killer, but also a cannibal, Hannibal Lecter. The way he portrayed them was perfect, because you literally felt the fear that he's trying to make you afraid, essentially, especially with the shit he does, especially up close in the fucking camera. But that's a different movie, and we'll go into that another time. But anyway, when it comes to Sean Murphy, personally, I can relate to him on so many different levels, because I can understand the difficulties of being in a social structure, being in society alone, because it's a hell of a lot more difficult, because we observe and analyze the world around us in such in-depth detail that you couldn't even begin to imagine. And I'm not saying that anyone is stupid or anything. It's just that from a person that doesn't have autism, it's going to be very difficult to understand what goes on in an autistic person's head. Only another autistic person could fully understand it, pretty much to a certain degree, because the way we see the world and the way we analyze it is very different from other humans. We see things, as I said earlier, in a very in-depth way, and we also feel it in a very in-depth way as well, especially the shit that happens to us in our daily lives or throughout our entire existence, like losing a loved one, losing family members, being beaten up, being almost killed, essentially, because I've been there. I've been there in my life, and I'm still here to this day, because at the end of the day, what life throws at me, no matter how hard it is, I know I can bounce back. It's not just confidence, it's also being very self-aware of what I am capable of, with not only just my autism, but with everything else that I have in my head. Because I do have a lot of dark shit in my head, but I don't let that control me. I don't let that overthrow the person that I am to this day. I mean, hell, personally, one second, I haven't even properly smoked this either, fucking hell. For me personally, ever since that I pretty much got diagnosed about 8 years ago, ever since I got diagnosed with autism, I was very glad to be aware of what I have, because it allowed me to understand myself more, especially with the things that I think about and the things that I feel, and why do I think so heavily and why do I feel so heavily about certain things. Especially when it comes to certain emotions like pain and love. Those two main emotions, I feel so in depth that most people wouldn't even begin to understand. It's unreal. So, for me personally, Dr. Sean Murphy, even though he's a fictional character, I fucking like him a hell of a lot, because at the end of the day, he's pretty much shown me what an autistic person can become if they literally go, if they burst through the obstacles before him or her, and proving himself or herself, because I gotta use gender proper things here, but breaking beyond those social biases and everything that most people probably may have when it comes to autistic people. Because I'm pretty certain that most people on this planet don't have autism, judge us heavily because of it, thinking that we're useless or whatever else, but we're not. I mean, look at most people that's probably on the YouTube platform itself. some YouTubers that you watch on a regular basis, you probably don't even know that they have autism. Because A, they haven't said it, and B, they probably don't even show it. I mean, hell, I don't even show the fact I have autism because I don't show those certain characteristics. The reason being is because I've learned to emulate certain emotions that I do feel, but not as much as most other people do. So it's allowed me to learn and emulate what society, I guess, what society wants to see from a proper human, I guess. So for me personally, autism is not a weakness, it's a strength, especially those that are high functioning. Because I have a few friends in my personal life that are autistic, that are literally on the same intellectual level as I am when it comes to our intelligence. Our recollection is pretty much near perfect. I have an eidetic memory, and it's both a blessing and a curse half the time. I'm not gonna lie, it's both a blessing and a curse. But the way I see it is, for those that have autism, don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of it because literally, for me personally, it defines who you are as a person. Because it is a part of who you are. It's a part of your personality. It's a part of what makes you you up here. It's a part of it. You can't get rid of it. There's no cure for it. And hell, even if there was a cure for it, I would never go for it, because that would, to me, it would remove the most significant part about me. It would change me completely, probably into a very, very, in my mind, probably a very bad person. Because to me, I personally believe, and most of my close friends believe, that I'm a very good person at heart, and I am. I'm very open minded about loads of different subjects, regardless of what they are. And if I find some of those subjects stupid, I will openly say that I find those subjects stupid unless a person explains it to me in a perfect, in detailed way so I can understand perfectly. And if I still find it stupid, then that's my own personal opinion. And when it comes to my own personal opinion, I've learned that, of course, it can offend people. Some people get offended, some people don't. Some people understand, some people don't. It's a very difficult thing to understand, of how not to offend people, but at the same time, the way I see it is people get offended anyway, regardless of what the fuck you say. Especially, what's the term that most people use? I think the term is called snowflakes, I think, where it's like people are overly judgmental even over the smallest of fucking things. They're stupid and irrelevant, pretty much. So, yeah, I'm going way off. I'm going way off here, but the way I see it is, for people that have autism, as I said earlier, it's not a weakness. It's definitely a fucking strength. And I'm going to put this down. I'm going to have it in a bit after this video public, because I feel that it's needed to be said. But yeah, it's not a weakness. It's actually a strength, because I'm not ashamed of my autism. I'm actually very proud of it, because it's allowed me to be who I am as a person. I'm very intelligent, very, excuse me, very knowledgeable about certain things when it comes to robotics, when it comes to computers, when it comes to story writing, script writing, filmmaking, even music. Not instruments, certain instruments, yes, but when it comes to like the vocals of it, because I do sing every now and again. I haven't uploaded a video on it yet because YouTube guidelines are a bit funny with that, but I'm working around it. But the way I see it is, as I said, I tend to go back on certain things, so please bear with me. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. So for those autistic people out there that may be watching this video, be proud of who you are. Never be ashamed of it, regardless whoever in your life fucking says otherwise. Regardless if it's a family member or a friend, it's irrelevant. It's all got to do with what you believe on the inside. Do you believe there's a weakness or a strength? Do you accept it, or do you try and deny it? Because I've learned that some autistic people that I've come across, some that purely, but they understand that they have it, but they literally hate it. They literally hate every single aspect of it. And to a certain degree, I can understand. But at the same time, there's no real point in hating something that you have throughout the rest of your life. There's literally no point in hating it because it's just going to be a waste of energy and a waste in time. You might as well embrace what you have and accept it. Because that's what I've done, personally. And for some people, I will agree that it would be very difficult for some people. But for me, I can safely say that I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of who I am and what I am. I don't give a fuck who judges me upon it, because at the end of the day, I already know who I am and I already know what I am. So whoever judges me based on what I have, go fuck yourself, because at the end of the day, it isn't going to hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but first you gotta fucking throw them. It's as simple as that. But yeah, in terms of The Good Doctor, in terms of Sean Murphy, if you haven't watched it yet, I would highly recommend it. I mean, it's not a perfect, complete review of it, but it's my own thoughts of it. Because Sean Murphy as a character, to me, it literally shows in-depth detail of what an autistic person has to go through on a regular basis, especially going beyond human biases when it comes to people with autism. Because I'm pretty certain a lot of people have their own biases when it comes to that. So, for me personally, I would highly recommend watching it from season 1 all the way up to season 3. It's not finished yet. The season 4 is still yet to come, which is awesome. So, yeah, in all honesty, this is the only show that understands autistic people and shows it in such an in-depth way that I never even thought possible. Especially with a person that's portraying Sean Murphy that doesn't even have autism. He doesn't have it at all. But yet he's managed to emulate it in a very perfect way because he's done the extensive research that's required for the part. And he's done it perfectly, so I praise him on that. But yeah, again, I would highly recommend it, and yeah, I probably will do a proper in-depth review of it and write a script and all that sort of stuff that most other YouTubers do, because this isn't scripted. This is just completely random, in all honesty, because I was rewatching a few episodes of The Good Doctor again, and I felt the need just to make this video, so yeah. For those that have autism like me, or even those that's not even high functioning, continue being you, ladies and gentlemen. Continue being you. Because at the end of the day, us autistic people, we can do stuff that most people couldn't even think that we could do. So prove them wrong and prove yourself right. That you can do these things that you want to do regardless of what it is. As long as it's legal, of course. So yeah. That's all I gotta say about it, and it may seem like I'm rambling or whatever, but it's just the way I feel. So, again, I will do a more in-depth review of the series, but that'll probably be... I'm not even gonna give a date or a time, it will be soon. Not sure how soon, but soon enough, so... yeah. Well, for a late evening, I guess, rant, type of thing, I feel that I've said enough for now. I feel that I do, and if a few people in the comment section want to know more, or if I didn't explain certain things correctly or not entirely that most people don't understand, then feel free to comment, and I'll happily respond. Or hell, I'll even make a separate video from this explaining certain things. So go for it. I'm more than welcome. I welcome criticism regardless of what it is. So if you have any questions or anything, then go ahead. So, yeah. Cool. Right, well, I'm gonna edit this video and upload it, and I shall see you guys in the next video. So, if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Adios.